Today I'm sowing scallion seeds in our vegetable garden. Now scallions are specific cultivars of bulbing onions, Allium cepa, but they're cultivars that have been selected for their non-bulbing habit. They're actually selected for having long, slender shoots and a mild flavor. And the desirable portion of our scallion crop is going to be those long white shoots. And we can achieve the most desirable scallions by planting them at very close spacing, putting them close together in the garden. Scallions fit into just about any space in the garden. They don't take up a lot of room, but they don't like a lot of competition, so just make sure that there's some room around them. We'll come in and plant more crops here later. So I'm going to prepare the soil just by loosening it. They really do well in a nice, loose, loamy soil that has good drainage, and I'm just making sure that there aren't any clods in here. If you do find some, just break them up with your hands, remove any rocks. They really like a nice smooth surface, so once you've broken it up, smooth it out. And we sow the seeds very shallow, just 1/4 inch, which can be kind of hard. So I'm just going to use my hand and gently push aside some of the topsoil. That part was a little hard. And then I'll sow the seeds and then I'll sprinkle this back over it. And the seeds are pretty small. Now we actually get the best crop through a high density planting. So don't get too hung up on how far apart the seeds are. You know, ideally they're going to be about 1/2 inch, but the seeds are too small to get worried about spacing. You can also spread them out a little bit with your fingers if you drop a whole bunch in one spot. So I'm going to make a nice dense planting in here and cover that up, and I could do several different clumps in the garden. Let's cover that up nice and gently, not too deep. We only want about 1/4 inch of soil above those. Just enough to keep a soil layer that can be damp to protect the seeds. Now, as I said, you can plant several different clumps, and ideally you want to spread those out, maybe plant every 2 to 4 weeks so that you have a continuous supply of scallions in the garden. Now you can sow scallion seeds anytime from about 4 to 6 weeks before your average final frost, and then throughout the season well into the fall. They take about 60 days to mature, so just be sure that you account for that in the fall for your final planting. You can leave some of these cultivars in longer and they'll form a slight bulb at the base, but only once they've matured, which takes about 100 days. So that is an option. Those will have a little bit stronger flavor. So if you leave some of them in longer, there's no problem with that. Just harvest them as you'll use them after they've reached a good size.